Hey friends, good morning. Jai Shri Ram. Today we are going to discuss about inline functions. But before we discuss about inline functions, it is necessary that we discuss about the normal functions. Why do we use normal functions? Uh, According to me, when a certain line of code is required to be repeated or required to be called time and again, then we make a function. Or some job is required to be done time and again in our code, then we create a function. For example, if we have to create this calculation, or if I have to solve this function of x, that is 1 plus x by 2 factorial, x by 3 factorial, x by 4 factorial, and so on, we have a thing here that we have to get a factorial time and again, 2 factorial, 3 factorial, and 4 factorial. So in the situations like this, when we are required to do a certain job time and again, we use factorial, we use functions. Now here is an example. How do we calculate the function factorial using function, and how do we use functions actually? Here is a main method, and as per my problem, I have got the factorial of 2, 3, and 4 by calling the factorial function that is written here. Here factorial 2 is when called, it is finding factorial of 2. If we call it with 3, in factorial of 3, and so on. Basically, how the function works, let us talk about this. First of all, the program is entering through the main function. Then we come to this statement. We require factorial of 2, so I have written this statement: int y2 is equal to factorial 2. We know that the right side of an equation is executed first, so when factorial 2 will be called, factorial function will be called with the argument 2, I can say. Then control will first go to the working area of factorial, and then it will give 2 value to this x. It will do all the calculation in its area. Factorial will be taking a separate area because every method is taking its separate area. It is working in the separate area, so factorial is taking some extra area. So 2 is copied to this x, and then all the calculations are done with this, and in return the pointer will be returning back to the main function, and it will be giving result at this place that is stored into y2. It is necessary to tell you here that when main function is calling factorial function and control is going to the factorial area, then for some time execution of main is halted and we work into the area of factorial function. Okay, same will be the procedure here. Factorial 3 when will be called, 3 value will be given here with the control, and the result will be returned back to the main function, and at this place factorial 3 will be stored into y3. Okay, so this is the working of normal function. As we've discussed here, that in normal functions an extra overhead is given to compiler, as it is sending control and some arguments to the factorial area, and then it returns control and result to the caller method, that is main method here. Now let us discuss about the inline functions. What are inline functions? I have some code here. Let us copy this and paste at this place. Okay, I have created a function slogan here, and it is made inline. So basically, if we talk about what is inline function is that function which is extracted where it is called. I mean to say, when inline function is called by any function, then all the code of inline function will be extracted at the place where it is called. In this example, show slogan is called by main method. Show slogan is inline, as we have prefixed the keyword inline in front of this. This is the method to make it inline, and show slogan is called into the main method. So whenever main method will be calling show slogan method, all this code that is selected will be extracted here, and this job is done at the time of compilation, not at the running time. The normal function is always working at the running time, but here this extraction of code is done at the compile time. So inline function is extracting its code. Let us see that what is the benefit of this inline function. There are basically two benefits. One, inline function extracts its code at the compile time. So at execution time, no extra overhead is taken onto the compiler. And secondly speaking, whenever we have called this show slogan method that is inline, all the code is extracted here, means there will be nothing like compiler will be taking control to show slogan, and then it will be giving it some values, then result will be calculated here, and then control will be given back to main method. There is nothing like this way. No actual call to a method is done, but here all the code of show slogan will be extracted to the main method, that is the caller method. So I can say that show slogan is faster than any normal function, or inline function are faster than any normal function. Why they are faster? Because they are called or they are decided to be extracted at the compile time, and no extra overhead is just like calling the function, doing the calculation, and then returning control back to the calling function is not done here. So inline functions are basically faster. Now some more points about inline function. Inline functions are just requests to the compiler. They are not the orders. Okay, how they are request? If it is a request, then it may or may not be denied. It may or may not be considered. Here, when I write inline in front of any function, then compiler see it is to be extracted at the time of compilation. But it also consider some points, like if number of statements written in the inline functions are limited, compiler may deny you to make the function inline if the number of lines are more than 7 to 10. It may deny you to make a function inline if there are complex calculations done in the inline function. So it is a request, it is not an order. A compiler may deny you. Let us consider some more comparisons between the normal function and the inline function. Okay, and this is my PPT that you can further download from the tutorial from my blog. I'll tell you name of my blog, and I'll tell you my ID where you can send your mail for further queries. Normal function. Okay, as we have discussed, any size of code is allowed here. I mean to say any number of lines can be given in the normal function. Inline function, only limited size of code is allowed. Mean to say compiler will be deciding that what number of lines will it be accepting for a function to be inline, because if number of lines will be exceeding, it may deny to make the function inline. Okay, they are slower as extra overhead is taken. Normal functions are slower. As we have discussed, the normal functions are taking extra overhead because when they are called, then the control will be first going to the called function, and then all the calculations will be done over there, and then control and results will be returned back to the caller function. They are faster because all the extraction is done at the time of compilation. Here no more memory to the calling function. Normal functions, suppose we are using some normal function, as we have seen in example, we have used factorial function. Here if I do not use, suppose I do not use normal function factorial, so if I have to find out factorial for 5 times, then I'll be writing the code of finding factorial for 5 times, means there will be no lot many number of lines included into my logic. But if I make a normal function, then no more memory is used into the calling function. Now inline function, as it is extracted in the calling function, so memory is extra required in the called function. No extra keyword is used. Here inline is used. It is an order. Normal function is an order, but it is a request. So this is the comparison between normal function and the inline function. Okay, so let's discuss one more point here. Whenever we make any class in C++ and we declare any method over there, suppose I'm making this class student and I'm making some method here, void show details. It is by default inline. It is by default inline, whether you write inline in front of this or not. It is by default inline function. So we have discussed all the properties, pros and cons, execution style of inline function. For further references, you can contact me. This is my mail ID. Okay, this is my mail ID, satyawan.pyte@gmail.com. Thanks friends, have a nice day. Jai Shri Ram.